The latest entrant into the earnings corner is Bharti Airtel with a bumper quarter coming in for the telecom major, beating estimates on all accounts. Net profit jumped 4 times sequentially on the back of an exceptional gain of 7.5 thousand crore rupees. The margins expanded to 54.5% for quarter 3, and the ARPUs, the average revenue per user, also increased to 245 rupees, almost a 40 rupee jump from a year ago. My colleague Ansh Philwar is joining us with the roundup of the numbers. Over to you, Ansh. Tell us what does the report card look like? Of course, it's a bumper quarter coming in for Airtel.
Well, that's right, Ankita. Bharti Airtel has delivered a strong quarter 3 numbers, surpassing expectation across key metrics. Revenue rose by 8.8% to 45,129 crore, and this was mainly driven by strong underlying momentum in India, sustained constant currency growth in Africa, and consolidation of Indus Towers Limited, which was effective from 19 November 2024. Meanwhile, EBITDA jumped by 12.6%, with margins expanding to 54.5%. Net profit jumped by more than 300% to 14,781 crore, and this was mainly led by exceptional gain of 7,545 crore as compared to exceptional loss of 853 crore in the previous quarter. ARPU, if we talk about, then that has improved to 245 rupees, which is up by more than 5% sequentially. Though this was slightly below the expectation, but mainly on Airtel Business, MD and VC Gopal Vittal has acknowledged near-term challenges, stating that while the segment delivered stable performance, it is undergoing a strategic transformation. Airtel is investing in digital services while shedding low-margin voice and wholesale business. While this may impact top-line growth, margins are expected to remain unaffected. So overall, a solid quarter with solid growth, improving margins, and a strategic shift in enterprise services.
Bumper quarter coming in for Bharti Airtel. Thank you so much, Ansh, for joining us on the phone line. But now we are joined by Naveen Kulkarni, who's the CIO of Axis Securities, to weigh in on the numbers for Bharti Airtel. Hi, Naveen. Thank you so much for taking the time out and joining us. Naveen, stellar set of results coming in for Bharti Airtel. The net profit saw a massive jump of 311% on a sequential basis. Tell us, what were the drivers behind this surge, and is this sustainable?
Yes, so net profit, of course, there is an exceptional gain, right? So that is one of the factors why the net profit number is pretty high. But having said that, the key factor to look at is the ARPU number, which continues to improve on a sequential basis. So that's at 245. So that's a good number to look at. So they're inching closer to 250. So overall, I would say that these are the key operating parameters which one needs to focus upon, right? How this is going to pan out, and effectively how cash flows are going to pan out is going to be a very, very critical factor, right? So I think that is a key area, because eventually telecom companies are companies which generate a lot of free cash flows and end up paying a lot of dividend. So I think that's the trajectory that we should be looking at from Bharti's perspective. Current numbers look pretty strong to me.
Right, Mr. Kulkarni, tell us, as the MD mentioned, the Airtel business is shifting towards cloud security and IoT while shedding low-margin business, which is likely to impact the top line in the coming quarters. Could it negatively impact the share price in the short term?
See, of course, in terms of the overall domestic business or the typical business of, let's say, subscriber ARPU, of course, there is limited headroom in terms of the number of customers, and of course, the growth has to come through pricing, right? And pricing, typically, you don't take price hike every quarter, right? It happens once in a while. So there could be challenges on that front in terms of ability to grow businesses. One has to look at other areas, which is enterprises and maybe even media segments, so on and so forth, right? That is something which probably will be the long-term growth trajectory. Having said that, short term, considering where the stock stands, of course, valuations are not cheap for Bharti for sure, so they are quite rich. And of course, the growth prospects could be dwindling a little bit. So probably from that perspective, I would say that the stock could correct a little bit. But I see that this is a company which operates and generates very, very strong cash flow. So I don't see any significant correction happening. It could be a marginal correction, and then there might be an opportunity to buy also if it corrects a little more.
Right. Mr. Kulkarni also talked to us about the capex increasing to 9,161 crore rupees this quarter. Is this due to the accelerated 5G deployment?
See, of course, telecom capex continues to remain a little high. So I'm not too sure how do we look at the capex number, primarily because there is consolidation which has also happened. So the Indus numbers could also have been part of the capex. So we need to look at that angle also. Otherwise, overall trajectory for capex, I would say that capex to sales as a ratio should be coming down.
Right. Naveen, tell us, the customer base growth was 1.4% on a sequential basis. How is Airtel stacked up against Jio in terms of market share and subscriber addition?
See, of course, subscriber addition quarter to quarter is difficult to comment, but yeah, so I would say that Airtel has been adding subscribers right now at a decent pace. Also, there is some bit of loss which is happening for Vodafone Idea. So we need to see how that pans out, because Vodafone Idea is also going to grow stronger with a better network, right? So it's not going to be easy to add subscribers from here on. Versus Jio, I would say that both are equal in terms of their own capabilities, but Bharti Airtel typically tends to enjoy a better share of premium customers, and that is why it is reflected in their higher ARPU also.
Right. Thank you so much, Mr. Kulkarni, for joining us and weighing in on the numbers for Bharti Airtel. We will let you go on that note.